It's your boy Yule.
I'm Margaret.
This is Can We Talk About It?
And today we're going to do a review of the show You.
Yeah, You Season 2. How'd you enjoy the show?
I liked it a lot. We both thought Season 2 was better than Season 1, actually.
For sure.
Which upset me because I didn't want to give LA any props whatsoever, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but also, we have a special guest with us here today.
We do.
And that is our resident creep.
Daniel. Hey, Daniel, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Okay.
So glad you will be on the show.
All right.
Interestingly enough, this man is usually in the studio with us, but you just never see him because
he's behind the scenes as most creeps are.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I really pride myself on my creep work, and I take it seriously. A lot of these people don't value the art of being a creep, and the fact that you've never seen me means that I do my craft well.
All right. Well, now you're here to correspond about the episode because there's a lot of creepy stuff that happened in season 2, and we're glad to have your input here.
Why did I have to sit next to Daniel?
I requested that. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Let's get started. Okay.
All right. Cool. So what is our first topic of discussion here?
So Penn Badgley, who plays Joe on You, he had some interesting commentary. He said that he thinks the whole show is about just how far people are willing to go to forgive a privileged white male.
Wow.
And you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Like, do you think that's okay?
If the main character of the show says so, this is not my words; those are his. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I've creeped for many years, and as an unprivileged black male, it's a lot harder than what Joe makes it seem like.
I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah, I know. It's a struggle. It's a struggle out there.
I think a lot about in season 1 when the cops came to check shit out. Literally, another privileged white male is saying, "Oh, this guy has been hanging around with my stepson. Kind of strange that a grown man is hanging out with this kid." And Joe has the whole I'm growing a neighborhood community garden in Brooklyn. You know?
Now that you've said that, that actually reminded me of season 2, where he was walking in the middle of the street at night with a bag full of items. And he's and the cop pulls up the headphones out of the bag and he's like, "Oh, these are really expensive." Had that been a black man,
that's so facts.
That might have went a little bit differently.
That's really true.
Might I point out, in the creep community, we deal with this a lot, and one of the most egregious instances of it was when a young girl was standing in the street in an alley and was screaming about how this strange white man was just following her and wanting to fuck her, and he was just okay, I'm just gonna go home now. I know some creeps of color who did not get away that easily.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a shame for them.
Yeah. Sorry?
The discrimination is something that most people don't talk about for obvious reasons.
Do you know what's interesting?
Yeah.
You guys familiar with Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes.
Very famous.
Familiar enough, but not that familiar.
Well, a famous serial killer, killed a lot of men. And he actually was able to go on and kill more people. One of his victims escaped, but he was Asian. He was a young Asian kid. He was 14 years old. He escaped. He found the police officers, and there were some witnesses who were black who kind of said, yeah, we saw whatever. And then Jeffrey Dahmer convinced the cops that he and the young boy were consensual lovers, and that they were the kid was drunk and they had a lover spat. Even though the kid was bleeding. Yes. And they returned him to Jeffrey Dahmer, and he was murdered. And then Jeffrey Dahmer, I think, went on to kill 4 more people after that before he was actually caught.
There's a lot of discrimination when it comes to what kind of creep you're dealing with. White male creeps are the cream of the crop. They get away with so much. So much.
Okay, what are we talking about next? Cause
okay, so murder aside. Murder aside. A lot of people kind of think that Joe's a good guy. What do you think?
How did you get that from watching You season 1 or 2?
I think it's this sort of self-righteous streak that Joe has, and in a way he does position himself in opposition of other people who are kind of from a range, from people who are assholes like Benji and actually Benji did murder somebody. I always forget about that. To people like Henderson who are creeps in their own right.
Yeah.
But my thing with Joe is even his whole like the good guy shit he does is very like paternal and like very like condescending almost, and like he knows best. So
Yeah.
even within that, you know, there's just like all that hypocrisy and stuff.
You know what I think it is that a lot of people say like, oh, he has good guy tendencies, is that it's a very biased view. Like, we get the whole show from his perspective.
That's facts. But then, what do you guys think of the fact that he looks out for children a lot? Because I do think that's related to his own childhood. So it might be a little bit. Well, he tries. He tries.
He
I fell into it. Look at me.
Does he?
I would say he attempts to, but I think I've observed a lot of subjects in my career as a creep, and in that time, I've never built a personal connection with them per se.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's definitely something that's unique to Joe.
You're leaning towards me a lot. Shut up.
I don't know if you sound sick.
Sit regular. Stay regular.
Alright.
We're good. We're good. It's a safe space.
So on the topic of, is Joe a sociopath? Like, do you guys, what is the difference between a sociopath and a psychopath, and like which one do you think Joe is, if either? I honestly don't think he's either, but I'll let you guys go ahead.
I think he's both. So
Really?
yeah.
That's
But let's
I don't
ask
think
our
you can
creep
be
correspondent.
I actually did some research on this in order to determine what it is that a creep of his stature qualifies as. WebMD classifies sociopaths and psychopaths differently, even though they share a lot of the same traits. It seems like the main key differences are that sociopaths have a harder time, or rather psychopaths have a harder time understanding the emotions of others.
Okay.
So when you think of the kind of psychopath that's robotic and detached and kind of cold-hearted, that's more the psycho. Mm-hmm. And the sociopath is the one that loses control and is, you know, wildly emotional and has a hard time like managing their feelings, which, you know, it's problematic. Realistically, when you're creeping, you want to be fully in control of your emotions, which it doesn't seem like Joe has ever done.
So
Very
do you think
emotionally
he's a sociopath?
Oh, that nigga crazy.
Okay, but you think a sociopath to be...
I'd lean more to the sociopath.
Okay, that's
side,
interesting.
yeah.
But what about all the planning? I feel like even though his crimes may be motivated by passion, they're not done in a moment of passion. They're really like planned out, you know?
I would say no.
You don't think so?
No, I've been caught multiple times creeping in situations that I probably should not have been. And in those moments, you have to improvise, and you've got to really figure out a way to get out of the situation that you're in. And the fact that I'm here, I think, speaks to my ability to do that effectively.
Yo, sit straight.
You seem very uncomfortable, Margaret. Are you doing okay?
No, I'm good.
All right,
Yeah.
but why I say both is because, like, I see a lot of the sociopathic tendencies. I think they're obvious. But the psychopathic tendencies are like the cages. Like, does he build these shits just in case? Like, where are they coming from?
I would say that is a step above. Even among the creep community, he creeps us out. The cage is it like detaches from humanity itself. Once he puts you in there, it's like you're not even a person. And that bothers me. I feel like that's a violation that I cannot abide.
That goes
too far.
Against the creep code?
Yeah,
It
creep
goes
code.
against the creep code.
Okay.
Why do you guys think he let Will go?
It was that's a good question. Why did he let Will go? I think it was because he needed a reason to like say that he was good, but also, you know how like serial killers always leave clues. Will's his clue.
Okay, that's interesting.
I just think that nigga crazy.
I don't think he's a sociopath or a psychopath.
Why?
Because I don't think that he lacks a conscience, but I also don't think that he like when I think of someone who would be defined as a sociopath, I think of somebody who like isn't so much motivated by like I don't know. like not working off of emotion, but like a sudden emotion rather than like a slow burning emotion over time. Do you know what I'm saying? I think a sociopath is someone who doesn't think of long-term consequences. So like they'll do something in the heat of the moment, not like I'm gonna put this person in my cage and then I'm gonna figure out what to do with them.
Yeah.
It could be like you're saying a combo. I think he probably has some kind of personality disorder or like a PTSD type thing. I don't know.
Why not both? Anyways.
Why not both? What I do think is interesting is that he spent the whole season kind of railing against entitlement, and then he ends up falling in with this woman who essentially gets away with everything because of her own privilege and entitlement as a rich white woman, and he gets away with a lot of things because of his own sense of privilege. But
do you think like you're a little close to Daniel right now?
I don't think you're close.
Just has to shift some things around. Some moving parts here on the show.
That's fine. This works better for me.
So let's talk a little bit. Let's talk some fan theories, okay? So Love was previously married to a man who became ill and he died. Do you guys think that he died of natural causes?
I personally think yes.
I think she was poisoning his food slowly over time, so I mean.
The only way I see her like really killing him and like this not being her like first victim or whatever is like if he lied about it to try to get out of this relationship. I think she would definitely like.
Maybe if he lied about being sick to like either get out of the relationship or explain not like starting a family.
Yeah. And
then she found out and she killed. Yeah.
She is a special case. It's rare that we come across female creeps, so it's hard to really gauge what her reaction would be. My personal opinion is that she would have a more emotional sociopath kind of reaction. So
that's a little sexist, Daniel.
No,
he's a creep. You think he cares about gender politics?
I'm offended.
Okay.
I'm an equal opportunity creep.
This guy.
Sorry, my apologies. The reason I think she's more of a sociopath is because of her, not necessarily because she's a woman.
All right.
She blends in way better than Joe does.
She does.
She hides
a million times.
Tendencies exceedingly well. People were more concerned for her safety than for Joe or for anybody else. So I think she would have more of an understanding of how emotions work, but also because of that, probably react more emotionally.
That's interesting. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so at the end, the neighbor in the backyard, who do you guys think that was?
I think, like, and a lot of people are saying this, I think it's his mom.
I think so too.
And
you know why though? I thought so. Literally very simple. She had old lady hands.
Yeah, she was like, and the old lady hat too. It was like she just had old lady vibes.
Yeah,
like, okay.
Old lady vibe.
Also, if it is his mom, I feel like that is a terrible angle for season 3. He's gonna try to find his inner self and like become a better person because he found his mom. Now, like that. No.
It's extremely disturbing. Creeping usually doesn't happen between parents and siblings and things of the sort for a particular reason. I think it would be extremely weird if he was creeping on his mom. I would be uncomfortable.
Good to know you have boundaries, Daniel.
I have many boundaries.
Okay.
I'd be uncomfortable watching something like that.
Cool. All right. The baby. Do we think that's really Joe's baby?
I do.
That ain't his baby.
I didn't even think she was pregnant from like when she said, "Oh, Joe, I'm pregnant." When he was about, I was like, "Hook her, Joe. She not pregnant. Hook her in the neck." Okay, Ellie. What do we think happens to Ellie? I don't see her just letting it go that her sister was killed.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
If I'm honest, I think Ellie is very soon going to join the creep community. I've seen the birth of many creeps through extreme situations, turmoil, family falling apart around them. I think she fits the bill to instantly become the next creep. Ideally,
my theory about Ellie is that Joe's daughter comes and she kills Joe's daughter.
It would kind of be poetic justice.
That would be the most poetic.
Throw a poor baby into it. All right.
It's a creep baby. Look, you got 2 creep parents. All right, that baby is bound to be fucked up.
There is an idea out there that there's the wiring in the brains of a psychopath or a sociopath is a little bit strange. I think the bigger difficulty is that not all creeps are necessarily that extreme. I classify myself as a non-violent creep. I'm more of a look, don't touch kind of individual. But I do know some creeps who cross those lines and get physical, and they are more of the psychopath type. So it's really difficult to ascertain where one may fall on the spectrum.
Copy.
One more. Let's just do one more fan theory.
Non-violent, I promise.
The glass cage, all right? Is
Yo.
he getting a new glass cage? Is this the same glass cage from New York and it's like some IKEA shit where he like broke it down,
Wow.
he put it back together,
Firstly,
very compact? I don't know.
Let's talk about the glass cage. This shit is solid. Unbreakable.
You
Broke
don't
out of
think that
box.
you pre-order that? Like
I
you just?
think you would have to.
Yeah, I don't think you think he's building
he
that?
Just moved. to a
Yeah.
new
Firstly,
town.
let's talk about the storage unit, right? That it's in.
Okay.
You think you could just slide that in there?
I will
You have-
say
either way, he's
storage
putting it
units
together.
are a breeding ground for creeps and their paraphernalia, but I've never seen a creep unit that has something like that just waiting there. It would have to come in pieces.
All right, so now we're going to kind of diverge from the show and talk a little bit about our personal lives in relation to the show. Have you guys, would you date someone like Joe or Love? And have you ever been that person? Have you ever dated that person?
I want to make this very clear right now. I'm sickened by people like Joe and Love. They are disturbing. They violate the privacy of other individuals against their will. And that's not necessarily an issue for me, but the lying, I think, is where I draw the line. If you enter into a relationship with somebody, you want to be honest. You want to be truthful, and you want to bare your soul with that person. You cannot do that when you start off on a lie.
I want to never have him on the show again.
I will be here so often just for you, Margaret.
Have you ever, you know?
What,
You
dated
ever-
a Joe or a
Yeah,
Love?
or have you been a Joe or a Love?
Dated a Joe or a Love? No. Firstly, I hope not, because Joe keeps that shit under wraps well. So I don't think people even know if they're dating a Joe. But Love, on the other hand, is ride or die, son. Like that's just next level ride or die. Yep.
So
She
you would
loved him
date,
so
y'all
much
would date Love.
that
Y'all would date Love.
Absolutely not. Honesty is the foundation.
I just said she was ride or die and say I would date her. No.
All right.
Would you?
Hell no, I would be murdered. I would be fucking murdered.
You are
Dude,
very much Beck. I just want you to know that. Like you're super Beck.
Do you want to see who I really am?
Yeah, let's.
Do we want to take these quizzes?
All right, let's do it.
We're going to take a you quiz to see which characters we are. We're all going to do it right now.
Oh my god. I wonder who we're gonna get. I wonder who he's gonna get. To be honest, that's.
I don't
who
think
I'm
that
winning.
one will be too much of a surprise. Okay, let's get started. Everybody, we're here. All right, the first question: how often are you on social media?
So often.
My own or someone else's?
Answer.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Pick a dream job.
Okay. Which of the following best sums up your reading habits?
I always have a book on the go. It's beneficial to have something to camouflage or disguise yourself.
Pick a home to live in. Oh, they have
Okay.
the glass cage.
They have the glass cage as an option. Your significant other mentions a name you haven't heard before. How do you react?
I'm like, who the fuck is that?
The
bitch?
options are nothing. Find their social media and learn everything. Google their address and go to their house, or ask who they mean.
What is your drink of choice? Ooh, a milkshake.
Watermelon juice is an option.
Okay, how easy do you find lying?
It's difficult.
It's
Okay.
difficult for you.
Okay. Which of the following is most important to you? Money.
Number of likes on my profile picture is an option.
Money.
What's your ideal first date? Cooking, going to movies, going for drinks, going to a party, theme park.
You've just found out your significant other is cheating. What do you do? Where's the option for murder?
You cry for an entire day. I'm not no bitch.
Okay. I got Delilah. That's what I wanted to get.
I also got Delilah.
Are we all Delilah? If you got Delilah too, something's wrong with
I
this
think I
quiz.
have the truest representation.
You
of
got
this
Joe?
quiz. Will Bettelheim.
So you
A
are.
true and honest creep who believes in love.
Read it,
We're
read
here.
it, read it.
What does it say?
You see the good in everyone and are just all around a great person.
What?
You deserve the world. This is word for word.
No, you.
That's
It
word
really
for
is.
word.
It really says
Exactly.
that. The fact that this is so spot on bothers me.
You're smart, clever, and caring. You care about your work and friends and family. You just often find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. I don't think that's true.
I mean, we're both sitting in a room with a legitimate creep. I feel like
Lila
that's spot
and
on.
Will never met, and I feel like if they had, they might have hit it off.
I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah, we're gonna. This
Who's gonna end this?
Yeah, this is can we talk about it?
Watch You season 2.
Yeah, you should definitely take the quiz. We're gonna throw the link in the bio below, and yeah, tell us your thoughts on this.
Bye.
I'll be seeing you.